Welcome to TR Academy. In this video, we're going to see about the history of the Indian Constitution. The history of the Indian Constitution goes back to the Crown Rule. In 1934, the idea of the Constituent Assembly was put forward by Mr. M.N. Roy, an advocate of radical democratism and a pioneer of communist movement. In 1935, the Indian National Congress officially demanded a Constituent Assembly to be framed. In 1938, Mr. Nehru, on behalf of the Indian National Congress, declared that the Constitution of Free India must be framed without outside interference by a Constituent Assembly elected on the basis of adult franchise. The demand was finally accepted by the British and it was known as August Offer of 1940. In 1942, the British government set forth Mr. Sir Stafford Cripps, a member of the cabinet, and he came to India with a draft proposal on framing an independent constitution to be adopted after the World War II. The Cripps proposal were rejected by the Muslim League, which want India to be divided and form two separate constituent assemblies. A cabinet mission consisting of 3 members of Lord Pickwick Lawrence, Sir Stafford Cripps and A.V. Alexander arrived in India on March 24, 1946. It rejected the idea of the two constituent assembly but put forth a scheme which more or less satisfied the Muslim League. The mission published its plan on May 16, 1946 and it was constituted in November 1946. According to the plan published by the mission, the total strength was to be 389. Out of these, 296 seats were allotted to the British India and 93 seats to the princely states. Out of the 296 seats allotted to the British India, 292 members were to be drawn from the 11 governors' provinces, which include Madras, Bombay, UP, Bihar, Central Provinces, Orissa, Punjab, Northwestern Frontier Provinces, Sindh, Bengal and Assam, and 4 from the 4 Chief Commissioners' provinces, which include Delhi, Mirwara, Coorg and British Baluchistan. 1 seat was to be allotted for every million population. Seats allocated to each provinces were to be decided among the 3 principal communities, Muslims, Sikhs and General, in proportion to their population. The representative of each community were to be elected by the members of that community in the Provincial Legislative Assembly. The representative of princely states were to be nominated by the heads of the princely states. So, it is a partly elected and a partly nominated body. The election was held during July-August of 1946. Indian National Congress obtained 208 seats and Muslim League 73 seats and the remaining seats by the small and independent groups. Princely states stayed away from the Constituent Assembly. Although the Assembly was not directly elected by the people of India on the basis of the adult franchise, the Assembly comprised representatives of all sections of the Indian society. The first meeting of the Constituent Assembly was held on December 9th of 1946. The Muslim League boycotted the meeting and insisted on a separate state of Pakistan. Dr. Sachidananda Sinha, the oldest member, was elected as the temporary president of the assembly, which followed the practice of the French. Later, on December 11, 1946, Dr. Rajendra Prasad and H.C. Mukherjee were elected as president and vice president of the assembly. Sir B.N. Rao was appointed as a constitutional advisor to the assembly. On December 13, 1946, Mr. Nehru moved the historic objective resolution in the assembly. It laid down the fundamentals and the philosophy of the constitutional structure. It read, "This Constituent Assembly declares its firm and solemn resolve to proclaim India as an independent sovereign republic and to draw up for her future governance a constitution, wherein the territories that now comprise British India, the territories that now form the Indian states, and such other parts of India as are outside India, and the states as well as the other territories as are willing to be constituted into the independent sovereign India, shall be a union of them all, and wherein the said territories whether with their present boundaries or with such others as may be determined by the Constituent Assembly, and thereafter, according to the law of the Constitution, shall possess and retain the status of autonomous units together with residuary powers and exercise all powers and functions of the government and administration, save and except such powers and functions as are vested in or assigned to the Union, or as are inherent or implied in the Union or resulting therefrom, and wherein all power and authority of the sovereign independent India, its constituent parts and organs of government are derived from the people, and wherein shall be guaranteed and secured to all the people of India justice, social, economic and political, equality of status of opportunity and before the law, freedom of thought, expression, belief, faith, worship, occasion, association and action subject to law and public morality, and wherein adequate safeguards shall be provided for minorities, backward and tribal areas, and depressed and other backward classes, and whereby shall be maintained the integrity of the territory of the Republic and its sovereign rights on land, sea and air according to justice and the law of civilized nation, and this ancient land attain its rightful and honored place in the world and makes its full and willing contribution to the promotion of world peace and welfare of mankind. This resolution was unanimously adopted by the Assembly on January 22nd of 1947. It influenced the eventual shaping of the Constitution through all its subsequent stages. Its modified version forms the preamble of the present Constitution.